Hello! Professor Goro Maki is the most filled out character in all of Shin Godzilla, despite not physically appearing in the film, unless you count Godzilla himself, since he and Maki are... Oh shit, wrong script. Hello! Last week I said I probably wasn't going to be covering She-Hulk anymore unless something interesting happened. The She-Hulk series must have heard me because it decided to be as boring as possible to deny me subject matter. Not that there was nothing whatsoever to talk about, just not enough to get me to waste my time on it. Now episode 6 has come out, we have some things to talk about, including something that is seriously bad for the character of Jennifer Walters and the writers. There won't be much in the way of visuals in this video, so feel free to stick this on in the background. I refuse to do more work than the writers of this show. Quick overview of the episodes in case you're interested in watching them. Episode 5 starts and ends with Jennifer Walters in court with Titania, legally fighting over the use of the name She-Hulk. It starts off hopeful with some back and forth which was missing from previous episodes.
Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What my client is trying to say is...
My client clearly stated...
Oh yeah, Jennifer isn't being the lawyer here. The walk-in from episode 3 is. Why? I'll get to that in a bit. The hopes of an actually good courtroom scene disappear with the runtime, but that's not entirely to blame. The writers could have spent more time in court, but half of the 20-minute episode was spent shopping.
Order extra bolts of the stretch wool. We're going to need a lot of fabric.
A truly interesting court case involving the hero and villain of the piece gone in the blink of an eye. So how did episode 6 do? The same, but worse. There's a court case that involves an immortal superperson and his many divorcees. Quite the interesting case on paper. But this plays second fiddle to Jennifer going to a wedding of a friend she barely knows who turns out to be a bit of a cow.
I'm so happy I found you. Half the event staff is quitting because of how I'm treating them. Do you think you could help me clean some stuff up around here?
There is a fight at the end of the episode, so there's that. It's not a very good fight, unfortunately, and it's also here where we find the big issue. Harken back to episode 1.
I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
Oh yeah, shit. Back then, Jennifer was adamant that she was perfectly in control of herself and her She-Hulk form, and could control her anger because woman. Cut to episode 5 and we see her accidentally crushing a stapler whilst looking at Titania media posts.
Okay, so you're not mad at the name She-Hulk?
No, I don't care about it. The most over it.
You're crushing your stapler.
What?
I'm imagining that scene from The Boys Series 1 with Popclaw and her landlord, but it's She-Hulk and her doctor date from episode 4.
The most over it.
In episode 6, Titania wants to fight She-Hulk after having punched Jennifer across a patio. I don't know how Jennifer survived that, but alright. Jennifer tries to Hulk out, but she's too drunk.
Oh no, I forgot how to do it.
This is pathetic.
Oh, give me a second.
Then she concentrates and does transform, only to do this. This is someone's patio you just ruined. What's wrong with you? This leads into the fight, in the middle of a wedding, surrounded by guests. During the fight, She-Hulk punches Titania into a waiter who is slammed into a table. Bloody hell, he just got slammed by a super strong superperson. Is he alright? This is She-Hulk's reaction. What is wrong with you? Many times, Bruce Banner stated that Jennifer Walters was a superhero thanks to her She-Hulk form. Jennifer denied this over and over again and, based on how she reacted to this poor bastard possibly being seriously injured by her fighting, I'm inclined to agree. She is insulted by the idea of not being in control of her emotions, only to lose control of her emotions. She brags about being in control of herself, only to lose control of herself in one of the few moments she needs to transform. She causes private property damage and grievous bodily harm without a single care. She is not a superhero. But this is only part of the character assassination of Jennifer Walters in these episodes. Earlier, Jennifer turns up at the wedding reception as She-Hulk, tight blue dress and all. I'm sorry, but blue and green should not be seen without a colour in between. The bride then asks her not to try to take all the attention away from her, to which Jennifer says,
"Yeah, obviously this is the one time I didn't want to show up as just Jen."
Essentially, she wanted to do what the bride was accusing her of trying to do. She is being incredibly selfish whilst trying to impress people who she doesn't know or like. Weirdly, the show nearly calls her out on this behaviour.
See? Not everything is about you, Jennifer.
Then the show backtracks on it when the fight starts. But we're not done ruining her character. Episode 5 shits all over Jennifer, and I can't tell why. It's been pointed out by reviewers I watched that Jennifer Walters is a pretty awful lawyer, and I'm inclined to bow to the knowledge of people with law degrees. Get it? Inclined? Bow? Because they're both... Never mind. Episode 5 appears to agree, pointing out how Jennifer got outmaneuvered by Titania, how she almost tried to represent herself, and doesn't offer any opinions on how they are going to win the case. She also gives examples of heroes who haven't trademarked their names, only to have it pointed out to her that those are the actual names of those heroes. Previous episodes evidenced how good she is at her job, yet here they are making her out to be awful at it, and I don't know why. She can't even come up with a good reason to have a suit made for her. This leads me nicely into talking about Nikki. Nikki is a terrible, terrible person. We already knew this from previous episodes when Jennifer is having a crisis about something more meaningful, and Nikki is too concerned with superficial crap to notice. But it gets worse. In episode 5, Nikki complains about Jennifer wanting to express her feelings regards coming to terms with her She-Hulk form. Nikki tells Jennifer to her face she has terrible dress sense and conspires to get her some new clothes. This leads to Nikki lying about Jennifer in order to get a suit made, which she doesn't tell Jennifer about.
By the way, we told him you're an Avenger.
What?
Well, like I told you before, She-Hulk is going to be one of the Avengers.
You said she was one.
It hasn't been announced yet.
And she is going to be a megastar.
Her?
Jennifer says she won't be doing superhero stuff, and the suit maker tells them to get out. One quick thing here. He lifts his right arm to tell them to get out, but in the next shot, his left arm is up. Not important, but I like noticing this stuff, tee. Anyway, Jennifer makes no attempt to come up with a reason for him to make a suit for her. Nikki ends up having to get Jennifer to change size for him to be interested. As I was watching the episode, I was thinking, tell him you're a lawyer who defends superpowered people and that you get into super fights sometimes. Tell him you need a classy business suit that will stand up to that kind of punishment and will change sizes. Unfortunately, this was episode 5, so Jennifer couldn't think at all. Episode 6 carries on Nikki's reign of awful as she quite happily abandons Jennifer for the episode 3 walk-in. I think her name is Mallory. I also think Nikki is gay. Maybe.
Oof. Hetero life is grim.
Nikki, I just hate that Mallory is having to pick up my slack at work.
It's going to give me the opportunity to work so much closer with Miss Mallory.
At the end of the episode, Nikki and Walk-In find a website that memes about wanting She-Hulk dead. Mallory tells Nikki not to tell Jennifer because that would upset her. Nikki then leaves a message for Jennifer telling her all about the website. What a really nice friend. But Nikki isn't just horrible to her friends. Remember that superpowered person I was telling you about earlier? He has issues facing up to conflict to the point he will rather attempt suicide than upset people. This is actually an issue that some people have in real life. It's really bad. So what does the show do? Both Nikki and Walkin proceed to berate the poor bloke, leading him to jump out the window to get away from them. That's not just incredibly mean to him, but bloody stupid of them. Also, possibly a sign that, once again, the writers of this show don't know anything about mental health issues. Bloody hell show. One last shit on the pile. The AntiMan Rhetoric is back in full swing. Episode 5 straight up has Walkin and Jennifer bad-mouthing men because her dates were bad.
Holloway could never have gone through that. He's never had to prove his value to a parade of underwhelming men. He can have literal superpowers, and some guy with an internet connection will still think he can do better.
Yes! Everything that She-Hulk brings to the table, and those guys were my best option.
Jennifer chose to make a dating profile as She-Hulk. As She-Hulk, Jennifer had loads of dating options. Jennifer picked the dates. Jennifer decided she didn't like them. Jennifer chose to sleep with the man she slept with. Jennifer was the one in control of the dates in episode 4, and yet it's been spun as Jennifer being judged and rejected in episode 5. Show, I drunk your think. Episode 6 had almost none, but they had to shoehorn in a reference.
My friend sent me a link to a video posted on that site, Intelligentsia.
The one for hateful man babies?
Yep, that's the one.
Oh. This is... what? What is this? Mal, how do we kill She-Hulk? This is dark.
Once again, the internet is filled with terrible anti-women comments. Do the writers think this is what the whole of the internet is? I'm starting to think this line is ironic.
So all of this just feels like projecting a lot of shit onto me.
So Jennifer is a selfish idiot who endangers lives. Nikki is a shallow, morally corrupt thing who I'm pretty sure is an alien at this point. And the writers can't go an episode without being ignorant sexists. Alright, so that's the bad. Is there any good? A little, yes. I liked the title changing at the start of the episodes to suit the episodes. It shows there's some artistic flair in there somewhere. They bring up the fact that men like to collect shoes and it's not taken the piss out of. Titania says this.
Nice suit, Shrek.
This made me laugh because they appear to have the same joke quality as Jay Longbone. Titania's products are presented like multi-level marketing products and are described as schlock. Well done, show. A guy talks to Jennifer and she doesn't go all anti-man on him. And this one's a bit of a weird one, but She-Hulk's boobs are given some attention. No, not like that, stop it. At the start of episode 6, the bride doesn't like She-Hulk and, whilst hugging her, is put off by her big boobs in her face. Later, the bride warms up to She-Hulk and says,
Whoa, huge boobs! Yeah, they're big. Okay, huge boobs. Congrats, whatever.
It's stupid, but I liked it. And the big good thing, maybe, possibly, depending on where it goes, is there appears to be an overarching story after all, just not a very overt one. Episode 3 had Jennifer attacked and a syringe used on her unsuccessfully. Episode 4 had the date who was obsessed with She-Hulk's powers. Episode 5 had that same guy turn out to be a big client of She-Hulk's law firm. And at the end of episode 6, we see some kind of secret lab where the broken syringe is being replaced with a bigger, sturdier one. So it appears that date might be a superhero enthusiast trying to get She-Hulk's powers. If this show had any kind of good writing, then it could be this guy paid the law firm to make a superhero division to lure superheroes in, and She-Hulk, all for the sake of getting DNA samples for experiments. Given how the writing has gone so far, that might be pushing it a little bit. Jennifer also comes out with this line in episode 5, which comes out of nowhere and might be the writers really subtly trying to make sure we know this guy is a bad man.
Oh no, remember that date I went on with the guy, the fetish? Creepy, disgusting, monstrous. Hi!
So that was She-Hulk Attorney at Law, episodes 5 and 6. They weren't very good and had a lot of problems. My hopes for a good end to this series are dwindling. I hope you will be here to join me in either celebrating a surprising turnaround or picking apart the battered corpse of a once high potential property. Either way, feel free to do all the YouTube things, especially subscribe if you haven't already. Links to my Patreon and Etsy store will be in the description. Last but not least, thank you for watching.